The Bears.
Because of the way they play the nickel corner here, and the nickel corner plays 88-85% of the snaps. He's got to be like part linebacker.
The Bears.
When you're in a scouting room, there's going to be differences of opinion.
The Bears.
Well, you're looking at traits. And remember when he tested very, very well.
The Bears.
Greg, why are teams wrong on quarterback evaluation so up?
Number one, it's a hard position to evaluate.
Former Bears scouting director Greg Gabriel talks football live every week on the Barroom Network. Also available on demand.
Look, I think it's a good time to be a Chicago Bears fan. There's a lot to be excited about. But let me tell you something. We are past the point of excuses. If things go sour, you have used up all of the patience that Chicago has to offer.
The following program is rated TV MALV. It contains strong language, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Here we go, Barflies. Welcome to the Barfly Tailgate Show. You already know it's done by Barflies for Barflies and all the other Bears fans out there. What's going on, fellas? As you can see, I have sent KB a text. He is on his way, but you know, he always likes to be fashionably late. But until he gets here, what's going on, fellas? Got my man C-Dub across the pond. My man Tooch still coming back from injury. I'll go to Tooch first. How you doing, brother? What's going on?
I'm doing better. Like Friday started to feel a little better. I've just been sick, man. I don't know whether it was an E. coli or something. You know, I was drinking that kefir. You know, kefir. It's like a drinkable yogurt, but it's like kind of different. It's got every freaking probiotic in it, and that was good for a while. It was good. I don't think I drank enough, you know. And then I bought another one, killing it right now. You know, just get the healthy bacteria in there, kill the other one. I've said if I wasn't feeling better, I would go to the walk-in clinic and get some Z-Pack or something. But I'm feeling all right.
Yeah, the only kefir I know played a vampire back in the
80s. Right, the Lost Boys, yeah.
I was almost named Kefir because of that movie, actually.
Yeah,
really? Wow.
Yeah.
Kefir. That's like a cultured milk.
Well, thankfully, my mom came to her senses and named me something not Kefir. C-Dub across the pond. How you doing, brother? What's going on?
How you doing, fellas? Yeah, good morning, America. Doing all right, mate. Doing all right. Another victory by the Bears, so always makes me happy. But yeah, I'm after listening to Tooch, I feel really healthy. I feel great. I felt like I had a bit of a sniffle. But listening to Tooch's week, I feel fantastic. So yeah, everybody's healthy and happy over this side of the Atlantic.
Well, you never know what you're going to hear. And this morning we hear about Kefir, and Broski Bear here says it's a fermented milk drink with a sour taste made using a culture of yeast and bacteria. So let's learn a little something every day. You know what I mean? That's that's good stuff.
The mango one. Mango is the best.
Okay. Yeah, my son loves mangoes. He likes fresh mangoes. He likes to buy them and Dad, you cut up this mango. I even got him they have a special cutter for mangoes. So I got him one of those so he can cut his own up.
It's like a mango shake, yogurt shake.
Huh. I bet he would like that if he ever needed it. I don't know. Hopefully
protein and healthy bacteria for the kid in there.
Yeah.
It's loaded with protein too.
Well, I mean, just like Chris said, the Bears win again. We start out the season, the preseason at 4-0. It wasn't without some bumps and bruises in this last game, but we did pull out the victory. I don't know if anyone listens to 670 The Score, but Flus did go on with Bernstein and Holmes Friday and gave an update on the young man who was down and got carted away. He said that he was moving his extremities before he got off the field. I can't remember his name. I think it was
Douglas Coleman.
Yes.
It was waved this morning or yesterday.
Well, he made it out of there, and they brought him back. He got back to Chicago. That was as of Friday, and then so he's good to go, healthy, thankfully, because they said it was a scary scene on the field there. Even the guy who he hit said, it didn't feel like a crazy hard hit. It's just sometimes you just hit the wrong way and. It's crazy. Football's a dangerous sport, Yeah,
the Bears are already making roster moves, though, man. I know we're going to talk some roster, but they cut Keith Randolph, the defensive tackle out of Illinois. Douglas Coleman, who we just mentioned, the defensive back. Tommy Sweeney, the tight end. I think he was like a 5th-year veteran or 6th-year veteran. I mean, that's got to be, Brendan Bates is cheaper if they decide to go, with Bates. The salary is a little bit different. There probably isn't much difference in their game. You get the younger player.
I'm biased, but I'm going to lean the Kentucky guy.
Yep. They waived a wide receiver in Simbo Webster, who I thought had a pretty good game. Played hard. Maybe he's a practice squad. It says injured reserve. He went to injured reserve. So Ian Wheeler also to injured reserve, but I don't know what Wheeler's injury is.
Well, he got a knee injury.
Okay, in the game.
Yeah,
and it came out that he tore his ACL. Actually,
brutal.
Yeah. He's out for the year. That's a guy that, if you've watched Hard Knocks, he was a quick favorite, and he's a doctor, so he's just doing this as a hobby, and ends up tearing his ACL. I told my wife about it because we were at a ball game yesterday. Actually, 8th grade. Game. My son was playing Royal Spring, and they won the game 30-22. An exhilarating experience that I never thought that I would be that excited for middle school football. But I was pumped up. Like they scored it. I'll bring in our man at KB a little bit late, but better late than never. What's going on, brother? How you doing, Morpheus?
You know what I'm saying? It's crap in the matrix as always. You know what I'm saying? Y'all take the blue pill. You stay where you at. You take the red pill. It alleviates your senses. Anyway, we here, man. What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing this morning?
KB, now you're going to tell us that you just done like a really sort of heroic sort of rescue, aren't you now, just to put us all to shame?
Man, listen, it wasn't that heroic. It wasn't even a rescue. Nothing to write home about. It's work.
When duty calls, KB answers. But so yeah, we just came in and started talking a little bit about the Bears finishing the preseason undefeated, and Tooch was giving us some updates on some of the roster releases.
Okay.
Sweeney, the tight end, was let go. The defensive back, I gave everyone an update because Flus was on 670 The Score Friday, and the young man that went down and they had to board off the field was moving his extremities. He was good to go, but he was waived, so he is back to Chicago, and now he's looking for another job. But he is good to go. And then Ian Wheeler, the Hard Knocks favorite, my wife's favorite player. Apparently, she didn't even know this guy existed 3 weeks ago. She loves him now, but he tears his ACL out for the year. But yeah,
Would he tear his ACL in the last game?
Thursday. Yep, he did.
Yeah,
Damn.
the Bears have enough explosive players at the running back position, I think, to survive this. I mean, I know Wheeler was probably the most explosive player at running back that we had. Which
I kind of had him going
buzz.
practice squad anyway because he was so young. But it sucks for him to get in the league. You know, coming from HBCU already, he's already behind the 8 ball, or maybe not. You know, he's not a D1 program. Nothing against HBCU. It's just not the same. Like if you say, "Oh, he's from LSU," more people know that than Howard University. So you got that, and then and like I said, the crazy thing about him is the football's a hobby. You know, it's he's a doctor. But so I feel like we've all got the top 3 running backs staying, which is Swift and Roschon and Herbert. Yep. Jones had a big run on Thursday, but he was in the fourth quarter of the last preseason game. Let's just jump right into it. Do you guys think he did enough to make the roster? Chris, I'll go to you first because last week smoked him, bro.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, because I was about to ask that point to you boys. You know, does that mean that Velus Jones is, you know, on the roster due to like injury? And it's like you said, AC. We're against like, you know, the third stringers. You know, he's been a pro now for this would be his 3rd season, and I can see him making the team just due to that injury. You know, I'd rather have had Wheeler playing, you know, taking his position because I just think, you know, Velus Jones is like right on the knife edge of being, cut from the team as it is. So he hasn't got really, you know, like another year to sort of, you know, to learn a new position. So I would have loved it if Wheeler hadn't got injured, but I do think that means Velus Jones is going to stay.
What about you, KB? I know you were on the Velus train last week. You still sticking with that?
I am gonna still stick with it. I still think they find a way to keep Velus on the roster. I kind of feel like if he was here and he wasn't cut before now, it's a big ass B. If he wasn't cut before now, I feel like they might let him play out his last year of his contract. So I believe he'll be here.
Yes, I saw some people attributing him to the likes of Alvin Kamara. I feel like that is the high level of what you would hope for.
I wish. That would be awesome.
It would be good, but I don't see it.
Maybe put him at running back his first year.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. Like, or if they would have done this in college and he could have came into the pros already knowing the position. But on top of him moving positions, remember, this is a guy who was an older rookie coming into the league. So it's not even like – and running backs as a position for the most part, once they hit that 29, 30, teams are questioning whether to re-sign them. Well, he's damn near there at the end of his rookie deal. Tooch, are you with Broski Bear here? Cut Velus, him and Dom Rob should be flipping burgers at Five Guys the rest of their lives, or
the kid had 13 rushes for 111 yards and a touchdown with that big 39-yard run. So kind of hard to cut him after that, you know. Plus, you know, he can return kicks, plays on special teams. So I think he's made the team. It's wide receiver, you know, that's going to be maybe losing a roster spot with Velus doing, you know, probably triple duty, you know, special teams, running back, and wide receiver. But I think he did enough to make the team.
Yeah. I think if he gets cut, he would be a guy who gets picked up because, you know, the Steelers have Cordero Patterson, who's made a living out of doing the things that they're trying to get Velus to do. And I think the Carolina Panthers could have a use for him at running back, you know, a speedy back that they could, you know, I think there's several teams that could pick him up if they let Velus go. And like I texted you guys, like originally I thought we were going to go over a 53-man roster, but I was like, man, I don't know. Especially after Tooch, you want to fill us in? The Bears made a couple of moves yesterday. Some trades.
Acquired Daryl Taylor on Friday, an edge rusher from the Seahawks. He was a second-round pick of the Seahawks. Let me see if I have that. Second-round pick of the 2020 draft out of Tennessee. Missed his rookie year with an injury. 6'4", 267. So he's got some size.
Mm-hmm.
You know, played in all 49 games the past 3 seasons with 13 starts. 91 tackles, 21.5 sacks, 22 tackles for loss, and 5 forced fumbles. You got to like it. Last year's 28 tackles, 5.5 sacks, 7 tackles for loss. I mean, he had a career high 9.5 sacks in 2022. So Bears waived Khalid Kareem to make room for him, and then they terminated the contract of Freddie Swain, a wide receiver. He was placed on injured reserve. And then the other guy was Chris Williams, not the offensive lineman out of Vanderbilt that went to school with Jay Cutler. But it was a 2025 seventh-round pick of the Browns. They got him from the Browns. Sorry, he was an undrafted free agent of the Colts when Eberflus was with the Colts.
Okay.
6'2", 302 pounds. Undrafted free agent from Wagner. You know, it's another small school. That's an FCS school, I think. And then we gave up a 6th-round pick that we acquired from the Dolphins last season in return for Chase Claypool. So Poles is washing his hands of the entire. We won't forget, though, Poles, about that trade. We're washing his hands of the Claypool, but Bears fans and Barflies in particular won't forget that. You know, the Claypool, that was a disaster. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
You know,
is the Seahawks player? Is he an outside linebacker or the end? Is he a guy with a hand in the dirt, or is he?
I mean, he can play defensive end at that size.
Right.
267. But you gotta like that. I mean, they still have. We were wondering what that's going to mean for guys like Daniel Hardy and Jacob Martin,
right?
Who I think should make the team over guys like Dominique Robinson.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Before they made that trade, I was completely ready to come on here and say Daniel Hardy and Austin Booker have both made this roster. And then once they made that trade, I said it kind of put me in doubt. Like, I like what Daniel Hardy has shown us this preseason. I do worry about his size. I don't think he has as much size as Daryl Taylor, who he traded for. And Daryl Taylor is mostly known for a pass rushing ability. He doesn't really have that run stuffing ability that Eberflus loves to talk about, especially with guys like Montez Sweat, who understand you stuff the run to be rewarded the ability to rush the passer. KB, you came off mute there, man. You got something to say about this guy or Daniel Hardy, or let me know your thoughts.
My question had tied in because I've seen a plethora of speculation. So I had heard that the Daryl Taylor trade was the Fields pick that we had acquired, which was a little confusing to me because if memory serves right, if Fields does end up playing half the year, it becomes
it's a conditional pick.
Okay. So I was always confused about that because that shit didn't make sense to me. How do you trade a 6 that could possibly become a 4th and then you pick it up?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just a piece player, not a mainstay player for that type of price.
He couldn't wait to get rid of that Chase Claypool compensated 6th-round pick. He couldn't wait.
That thing down the road. Didn't he put it on the bus and said, "Go ahead, we'll take that guy."
Oh, y'all about to cut him? Yeah, we'll give you something for him.
We'll give you something for him. I was a little shocked because at first when I seen linebacker, I was like, I didn't think we needed more linebackers. Didn't realize this guy was an edge player, which was very, was a shocker. Because I was still kind of holding out hope that, maybe Hassan Reddick had actually played his stuff out of New York because New York being stupid. Also, I'm a big fan of Hardy. I'm mad because I did not get to watch the game. So I knew about the long run by Valus. I seen that pop up on the feed, but I didn't get to see the game. Seeing we still put up hella points, which is good. that's been a mainstay apparently this offseason. Or the preseason, we score. So
yeah.
I really want to keep Hardy. I hope they find a way to sneak him onto the practice squad. I feel like he has a lot of upside. I don't know. It's something about seeing him and Booker play together. You just kind of,
it's nice, ain't it?
Yeah, you just kind of feel like we got this figured out somehow.
Yeah.
He hustles, man.
Yeah, I told you, man.
I love the motor.
Hustle and a high motor leads to sack.
Yeah.
No matter what anybody says, it doesn't have to be right away.
Yep.
Sometimes those pockets just break down, and those quarterbacks run into sacks, and those people that are still trying are the ones that get sacks.
Right.
So if they can find a way to keep Hardy practice squad, man, because I'm pretty sure Taylor's going to be taking that spot. Yeah, man. I just want to come off and speak that piece, man. I do like Hardy. I like Hardy.
I just wonder if they were to cut Hardy because he's had such a good preseason. I don't know if he would clear waivers in order for them to put him on the practice squad. But I feel like I fall in love with someone every preseason. And like game 1, we had Colin Johnson, who I was like, we're not going to be able to cut this guy and let him sneak. But he hasn't done anything since the opener. Right. He's been injured since the Hall of Fame game. So I feel like maybe that's part of the reason why he's still a preseason stud is because this isn't his first year. He's not a rookie. It's just he'll do something nice and then gets hurt. Injuries are part of the game, but availability is one of the best abilities you can have. John Fox put that perfectly, and Eberflus goes by that as well. I mean, you heard him say this offseason, you can lose your job to injury. Absolutely. So with that being said, we'll go on to the offensive line. We did lose Larry Borum. I don't know how long he's out for or if they've come out with – I know he had Flu said he had an MRI on his ankle, I believe, on either Friday or maybe Monday they were going to do it. So, obviously, it's an ankle injury, and which really sucks because they were leaning on him to be their swing tackle. With him being out, I mean, I guess you got Matt Pryor who has – ability there to play either tackle or guard, so maybe he locks up a roster spot. They bring back the 3rd round pick from this year, Amagaji, so he comes back from injury. They try to sneak him in there a little bit, and then of course Ryan Bates, we don't know what's going on with him, injured or good to go or what. We see Nate Davis come back all of a sudden once practices and training camp's over. He's healthy and good to go. Coincidence, maybe, I don't know, but it seems to be a yearly thing with him. But Chris, you look like you're about to explode down there. Let me know about this O-line, brother.
Well, did I look like? Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you would have. Bates is really worrying me. I don't even know what injury he's got because I don't think they actually have to release injury status to them when it's the off season or in the preseason. Sorry,
right.
And that's such a shame because he was probably going to be our starting centre, letting earn a guard, and it would have just been nice that he would have had the time in practice with Khalid to work on the handoffs and whatever. So that's just such a bit disappointing. But it's yet again we just have that consistency. Do we have 5 guys what train and play games together? It'd be interesting to see what happens with Nate Davis. I mean, we can't cut just due to the money, but it might just be one of them players where he just might bloom, hopefully. But I think some of the backups are really pushing him for like a starting job. It's just disappointing that we just haven't got that continuity sorted out yet. So close to the season starting as well, and it's just Bates, man. I really because. Obviously, Ryan Bates has been his guy for quite a few years, and he tried and get him a few times. So it's just disappointing that Bates is injured. But let's just see what happens, mate. It always seems to be the internal of the offensive line, and also as well, if something happened to Baxton Jones, who we're going to have to play him a left tackle. So a lot going on still with the O-line, unfortunately.
Yeah, the O-line is definitely in flux, and the Ryan Bates injury has a trickle-down effect because I like the guy that they put at center in his place. Is it Coleman Shelton or Colton Shelton? I can't remember one of those two.
Coleman Shelton.
Coleman Shelton playing center. He's done fine. We haven't seen any issues with snaps, knock on wood, like we saw with in the past with Whitehair or whoever they decided to stick in that spot. So that's a good thing. But yeah, with Ryan Bates being out, he was going to at least be second string. So now you've got, is Doug Kramer good to go, the guy they drafted last year, or are they looking out on the streets for Tuesday cuts, finalized, start coming through? So are they going to look out there for someone who doesn't make a roster somewhere that they can bring in, or what? I do like. I know that our O-line's in flux, but honestly, this preseason, I heard on the radio they've given up 2 sacks the whole preseason. So there's a lot of question marks, and it is preseason, so you don't know how much they're really coming after you. But at the same time,
just saying that, you got to realize Caleb actually took blame for one of the sacks,
right?
By saying he just held on to the ball too long. So, I mean, honestly, it might have just been one sack that they really true to God gave up, which is insane to think because that's 4 games played.
Yeah, and on top of that, I saw a statistic of the amount of time before throwing the ball. They said Caleb Williams and Justin Fields this whole preseason held onto the ball for an extraordinary amount of time, yet Justin Fields' sack rate was at 11.3% and Caleb's was at 4%. So he shows the ability to scramble, and his eyes are always downfield to make a play instead of, okay, I'm going to make this play, which I think helps the team and helps Caleb out a whole lot. Sometimes when the quarterback starts scrambling, it pulls those linebackers out of coverage and you can just kind of dump it over them. I'm trying to see what Cornelius is saying here. Our O-line is a lot better than I expected. We now have starters behind our starters. That's true. I mean, you think about some of these guys that are going to get cut on Tuesday that have either played here or practice. I mean, you had the open practice with the Bengals. Who knows? I mean, the Bears did that with Cravon LeBlanc back in the day. The Patriots cut him, and they were like, well, he did really good against us in practice. Let's bring him in. So that could be a guy someone that you've given the Bengals a leg up on. Oh, yeah, we saw this guy in practice. He looked really good. And, probably good at the line. Tooch, did you tell us what you were feeling about the O-line, or I can't remember?
I'm a lot more positive than I was, before the preseason. I really like what Matt Pryor's done. I think if they cut him, that would be really stupid. I think he's been one of the better linemen, if not the best.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a solid veteran. Nate Davis has kind of, been Nate Davis, in and out of the starting lineup. Darnell Wright, a little bit of struggle, but he's going against some top talent.
Right.
Braxton Jones coming back from injury, that's been a concern, and now Borum with the injury, that's a little concerning as well. You kind of need to keep Borum, just can play, guard or tackle, and then center position, like you said, Coleman Shelton has been pretty solid. Ryan Bates, can play center and guard. So I think you're looking at those guys all making the team.
Yeah.
The ones I named, and then the draft pick who we haven't seen, that Kieran Amagaji, I'd add him in there because of the potential.
Yeah, I'm not sure where exactly he goes. Go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say, I think one more player I'd add to that list too, which is Bill Murray. I think he's had a really good off-season.
Yep.
Really good preseason. So I think he's been really solid. And it'd be so cool to have somebody called Bill Murray on the Bears team.
Yeah.
I'd buy that shirt. I'm telling you, I would buy his shirt. but he has been playing really well, so he's a good option as well. And it just doesn't seem that we've been able to talk about the Bears' future roster with so many players who've got so much good depth to them. It's so exciting. So it's going to be interesting to see who gets cut. Who do you reckon could be a surprise cut from the roster next week? Who
I
would
think
shock
I think it'll be someone in the secondary because we're so deep there. Reddy Stewart had 2 picks this last game, including one that he took back for a touchdown. But if you look at the roster, I feel like he's 6th or 7th at corner.
you? Right.
So he could be a guy who ends up cut. If he can sneak him onto the practice squad, that'd be great. But if someone else picks him up, I completely understand. I know they spoke to him because I've been listening to the hell out of 670 The Score. I believe they spoke to him either on there or talked about him, and he was telling his teammates, when he caught the first one, the quarterback was telling him where he was throwing it the whole time. He just read his eyes. And then the second time he was like, I'm not going to get caught next time. So he caught that one and took it back for a touchdown. That's a guy that Tooch brought up week 1 of the preseason, talking about watching for Reddy Stewart or one of these guys.
Love that guy.
And I like the guy. I just think that we just got so much depth at corner. I feel like he's going to be one of those surprise cuts that the Bears fans are going to be like, man, I hate to see him go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
KB, is there a surprise cut you got in mind, or?
It's hard to think. Like I feel like it will be. It is going to be a secondary player. That's going to be a surprise. And like I said, you do have the Reddy Stewarts of the world. I don't think in any case you can kind of cut the what's the kid's name that was playing nickelback for us?
Blackwell
Blackwell.
Jones,
I was gonna say it was Blackwell, the one that was playing and came in after Kyler and started lighting people up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a world where any of them are cut. Blackwell has too much experience starting for us, and like I say, he's the second nickelback on this roster. So I will hope none of them. I know we have depth in secondary, but I don't think we have enough at safety. So I believe Elijah Hicks will be fine. So yeah, man, it would have to boil down to be one of those, the Reddy Stewarts of the world, maybe a Jalen Johnson instead of not is it Jalen? What's the other dude's name that's similar to
Jalen Jones?
Jalen Jones.
Jalen Johnson ain't getting cut.
Can we talk about Jalen Johnson for 1 second?
Sure.
That dude is a shutdown corner. Man, he might be the best cornerback in the NFL.
He is suffering what I feel is the Charles Tillman treatment.
Yep.
Where you are probably one of the top 5 best corners in the league, but because you play in Chicago, you get zero recognition. For them to constantly bring up the fact that even though it's PFF, to say that he has a score of like 50 something, and that means that quarterbacks have a better chance at completing the pass by throwing it in the dirt than throwing at Jalen Johnson, which I have no idea how that even computes.
Yeah.
But it's been like that. The only time that you don't really see the man putting up stats was the one game we played the Eagles where he went up against Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's hurt. I mean, other than that, you don't see the dude get beat by people.
Yeah.
So
I love Jalen. I hate that he didn't make the top 100. I'm glad he voiced his opinion about that.
Oh yeah,
my Justin Fields jerseys will be
repurposed. Chip on his shoulder after that, man.
Absolutely.
Right, KB?
Oh yeah.
Man's got a chip now.
And Herb Howard was saying on CHGO that during those joint practices with the Bengals, like the Bears put out some video from it, and there was like 4 or 5 Jalen Johnson plays. That was it. That's they only threw his direction 4 or 5 times in 2 full practices with Joe Burrow.
Keenan Allen is telling you
hard knocks. I have no catches against him, right?
I have not caught a pass on this man.
Yeah, still haven't caught a pass.
Every time something stupid happens, or it's just good coverage.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they even showed the one where it hit Keenan Allen in the arm.
It bounced out.
It bounced off and right into Jalen's hand.
Keenan Allen, I mean, I initially loved the trade, but and last year he was like the number 3 fantasy wide receiver in the NFL. I had a million catches with the Chargers. But this season, I think he might. The only way to go is down after that really good season he had last year, and now he's competing with Rome Odunze, who I think has got a lot more speed. And once he figures out coverages and figures out the league and figures out defenses and plays against a few of these NFL quarterbacks and starts figuring out how to torch them, he might be taking snaps away from Keenan Allen.
So this is why I stand on this, because I've always been a Keenan Allen fan.
I love the guy too.
Keenan Allen to me is probably second best route runner in the league behind not DeAndre Hopkins, but my man's out in LA right now, former Packer. Keenan has never been fast.
Adams.
Yeah, Devontae Adams. Keenan has never been a burner. That has never been his thing. Keenan has always gotten separation because he leaves people because his cuts and his route running is so precise. He's a technician. To me, I wouldn't be looking for Keenan Allen to have 1,000-yard season. That's not what Keenan Allen is here for. Keenan Allen is here to help your rookie quarterback come along.
Yeah.
If I can't find DJ
100%.
Moore or the new expensive Ferrari that you got at wide receiver,
there's Keenan, and he's open.
Right, you got that. You got that infinity truck
Right.
named Keenan Allen. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
All those guys are covered. Let me throw to this little D Swift down here.
Foles is atoning for the Chase Claypool sin.
Exactly what he's doing. But I see a lot of folks get worried because they say, "Oh man, hopefully we got she's saying hopefully he hasn't lost a step." It's not about losing the step. Keenan Allen is going to be a problem. People are going to key in on him. So that means somebody is going to be open. DeAndre Swift out the backfield. You see Caleb is going to make it a thing to try to get the ball to Doomsday. That's his boy. So that connection is going to heat up. Then you still got a dark horse. I think that Caleb might actually like Scott. The kid has a lot of speed.
On deep balls. They like him on deep balls a lot. Yeah.
He has a lot of speed. I guarantee you Caleb is going to continue to try to air the ball out to that kid. So you have a Keenan Allen to draw attention, which is another thing. He's an attention drawer. If you sit there and say we have to double DJ Moore, then guess what? You left Keenan Allen in the slot against probably your third or fourth best goddamn corner.
Right.
Good luck with that.
Or a safety.
Or safety. You know what I'm saying? And he's shown that doesn't work against him. So
yeah.
I wouldn't be worried about Keenan Allen losing the step. What I am worried about, maybe he is a 1-year rental. I ain't gonna lie, I can't cap on that. Yeah. That might be a solid truth. He might really be a 1-year rental. So
yeah, I like Keenan a lot. Like you said, route running is impeccable, catches everything. As long as he's healthy, he's an excellent player, a veteran that can bring along your younger guys. All those things are absolutely true. But I do believe, he is a 1-year rental because they've already re-signed DJ. They're going to want Rome Odunze to take that next step. Like you said, Tyler Scott's waiting in the wings. We got a hell of a draft class coming again next year. Wide receiver, there's always guys. You know what I'm saying? So,
is Nick Harbor coming out next year?
I know Luther Burden III is coming out of Missouri.
I was gonna say, listen, bro. This is beyond the point. I got Nick Harbor in my college football in the transfer portal. 6'5", brother was a 4'3". I just want to say that.
Well, if we're going off college football 25, Malachi Starks is going to be Ed Reed, so go ahead and draft him in the first round. Every time I tried to throw a deep ball in that motherfucker, he picked it. But
hey man, I got some NIU players we can draft, brother.
But yeah, I think he's a 1-year guy. I know Tooch, you sent us that video of the who's the guy that breaks down the tape?
Yeah, JT O'Sullivan.
JT O'Sullivan, and he was, kind of dogging on him and Gerald Everett in that tape study. But I mean, it's preseason; it's hard to know how much they're how much they're going full speed for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm hoping Gerald Everett proves me wrong, but I'm not a fan.
He's the number 2 tight end.
Cole Kmet is a good player, man. It's like if he's taking snaps away from Cole, we're doing something wrong. I think.
I don't think that's the case. I think they're on.
No, I know he likes to run.
Go ahead, C-Dub.
2 tight ends, but
go ahead, Chris.
I'm trying to think who we were talking about now. I forgot.
We were talking about Keenan Allen, and then it kind of swapped into the
complete brain freeze. I think the Bears are not asking Keenan Allen to be the number 1 receiver anyway. It's like what Toot said and KB. Like he's been brought in to do a specific role, and it's not to be the 1,000 plus receiver. He's probably going to be, Khalil's sort of safety net. Really, if he's doing a lot of nice sort of underneath patterns, he's just there to sort of probably get that sort of middle length sort of passing done, really. But with the tight end from what we've got for San Diego, he's a brilliant pass catcher. So hopefully, because he hasn't seemed to be very noticeable in the preseason. I don't really seem to have noticed him at all. Yeah. So it might just be me missing him. But Keenan Allen, it's just all his sort of experience as well, what he can pass on to Khalib and especially to Adunze as well. That's so valuable. Sometimes you need to hear it from another player from just the coach all the time. So, it's just so weird to be talking about a Bears wide receiver group in a positive manner. We're usually going, oh my God, he's terrible. He's just there to block, and it's quite nice and refreshing. And I'm so glad we got it for Khalib's first year.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. We're seeing around the league CeeDee Lamb holding out for a contract. Is Devontae Adams going to finish the year in Vegas?
I don't know what the Cowboys are doing over there, man. CeeDee Lamb is the best. He's the best wide receiver in the league. We can argue about him or Tyreek.
Right.
CeeDee Lamb is phenomenal, man. Justin Jefferson, too. Those are the top 3 wide receivers in the NFL. They're basically quarterback proof.
But I'm saying all these guys are guys that in years past, Bears fans would be like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Go get this guy, pay him whatever he wants, trade all of our first-round picks for the next 3 years, go get this dude, and now we're just like, we got 3 dudes. We're good.
I know one thing. The Bears need to be running the scramble drill every practice because Caleb's going to run around. They gotta build that chemistry. When the play breaks down.
But that's another thing. They seem to, when he does it in preseason, they seem to know what to do. Like in years past, even last year, when Justin started taking off and breaking the pocket, you'd see guys turn around to watch him run. Like
the coaching is way better.
Get open. It comes down to coaching for
that's
sure.
That's as well. Sorry, SC. One thing to bring up is, don't you think that because we've beaten sort of decent teams in the preseason, and I know obviously you might have like a first string playing against a second string, but don't you think that's just shown how good our scheme is in offense? Because they've been playing a vanilla offense anyway, and we're scoring so much in each game.
Yeah.
I just think that shows that we've got a lot better coaching than we've had over the last God knows how many years. Especially like with the wide receivers, I think they've really improved, and the running backs. But it just seems to me that the coordinator's got the right scheme, and it's working even with like third string players. They're still scoring. So that would be what I sort of really noticed over the last sort of 4 games.
All you have to do is look at Las Vegas right now, where fans, coach, and players are upset at Luke Getsy right now to know that Chris is right.
I was going to say, I've said it before. It's one thing to just have an offense that you call compared to something when you actually have a plan. Mm-hmm. Things look 10 times different when you have a plan.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be fancy right now. It can be the same few plays. As long as you're going north and south, and you're going north and south with an idea of what the offense is, it's going to look a lot better. That's to me that is why you see the Bears putting up points. I can give a damn whether or not it's preseason or not, because we've seen preseason games where the Bears didn't do shit.
Yeah.
So and we get hype off of gimmick plays and screens. No,
Super Bowl year they were 0-4. 1985.
So
Preseason, they were like 0-4.
yeah, so it's like, man,
that's true. And I believe it was either the Lions that finished 0-16, or maybe it was that Browns team that finished 0-16.
Had perfect preseason.
Had a perfect preseason, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going more off the eye test than the win-loss test, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not care. I don't care. We could have lost every preseason game for all I care. It looks good for Hard Knocks. You know, it gives you something to talk about at the end of every episode. But
I mean, I'd rather win. I'd rather winning than losing. I know it's pre-season, but it just gives you that bit of spring in your step, doesn't it? Even just as a fan, you know, like you remember, like when it last season, the season before, we lost like 8 or 9 games in a row, and how hard it was to sit here and try to put a positive slant on things. Like now we can actually do it because it's there and it's real, and it's all started to come together. And I just think I'm just so looking forward to see what the offense is going to do, because we've already seen the vanilla side of it. So what we're going to do when we're in full game mode, and it definitely seems to be a coordinator which works to the strengths of the players rather than this is my scheme. Don't really, if you can't play, we're still going to stick to my scheme because that's the scheme I know. And I think Waldron just through the pre-season has proven that even if it's a third stringer, he can still call a play what's going to work to them third stringer's strengths. So I just can't wait to see what the offense is going to be like this season coming.
I'm excited for the defense. Third years of Eberflus. I know. I think we're going to be pretty good on defense. It looks like, if you're watching Hard Knocks, it looks like the Bears are building something special. That these teammates love playing for each other, with each other, whatever you want to say. It's a good group of guys that all like and respect each other. And the hustle. There's a lot of hustle on defense. I love it. Last season, it looked like the offensive players, again, I'll refer back to JT O'Sullivan breaking down Fields and stuff from last season. It looked like a lot of offensive players just quit on Luke Getsy. Now you come in, they're excited for Shane Waldron. So I think, and all the new weapons we brought in. there's a lot of mouths to feed now in the Bears offense. So I think it's just the schedule is tough this season. I know we're playing a fourth place schedule, but I'm looking at it on paper. It's tough.
Yeah, I was gonna say I made the mistake last time we were on here, and I said Allen as the the defensive coordinator. I forgot he was fired, and we had Eric Washington in. To me, Eric Washington makes a big difference. I've said this also on the pod so far. How getting Shane Waldron in here was a bigger key this offseason than a lot of movement that we've had. Probably second to drafting Caleb and Rome. I think right as that, having a 2B, 2A and 2B, I think the next one is Eric Washington. You watch how these kids are playing on the defensive line. We sit here and we say how we wish Hardy could make it to the practice squad, and you see how some of these other young kids on this defensive line are getting after the quarterback and people are hustling. I mean, that's a product of what Eric Washington teaches. You go back to the Bills, how people talked about their efficiency on the D line going up because of him being a coach.
KB, I was going to ask you a question there, because he's been calling the players, hasn't he, in the preseason?
Eric Washington.
And then the head coach is going to go back to calling the defensive play. So do you reckon we might see a bit more of a conservative style? Because they have been blitzing quite a lot in this preseason. I'm just wondering how much of that sort of Eric Washington style compared to what Eberflus's style is really going to be. So I just wonder what you thought about that,
man. And I thought about that because I heard Eberflus came out and said he was going to call plays on defense this year. I feel like it's going to be more of a striking balance in between what you see at Eberflus style-led defense and what Eric Washington has been teaching and what he preaches. Because now you have that sounding board in the room saying, hey, look, I know you say we should do this and this is what your philosophy is, but I think on this down or on this at this point in the game, we should be doing this. And I believe Flus is going to take account of that. You have to pay attention to how your defense is playing right now. you see those guys are playing with fire. They're playing with some oomph behind them. And to me, that comes off the guy that's calling plays. You brought the guy in here to be your defense coordinator for a reason. I'm pretty sure they know each other. Flus knew the dude. So
Yeah.
I'm sure he's going to listen to what Washington has to say. I guarantee we'll probably see a lot more blitzes coming at some of these guys this year because of Washington. But it still will be the Eberflus called defense, which ain't nothing to shake a stick at now.
Well, no.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I feel like we've been here for 50 minutes. We've talked offense, defense. We've talked players. We've talked about potential cuts. I'm not sure there's much more we can talk about until the season is here. So let's wrap this thing up. Give me what I'd like to hear from everyone, a bold prediction for the season. If you want to give me a season record, that's fine, whatever. But give me a bold prediction for the season, and then go ahead and hit your shout-outs, and we'll close this thing on out. I'll start with UKB, and we'll go in a circle, and I'll finish this off.
All right, it's 17 games, right? That's what we at now. With 9 and 8 would be pretty much the essential 8 and 8. I say 10 and 7 is my bold prediction. I do feel like we have enough juice to have a winning season and to at least hit double digits. I do feel like we have the juice for that. My bold prediction, I give this one as bold prediction. Rome will be offensive player of the year, not Caleb.
Wow,
which is gonna be weird to say. I'm gonna give it to Rome because I feel like Rome can have one of those stellar breakout seasons, and that's not even to say that it'd be at the cost of Caleb. I say maybe Caleb throws for around 3,000, between 3,000 to 3,500 yards. Then he comes somewhere close to, let's say, 25 and 30 touchdowns. But yeah, I just feel like Rome. I don't see how people can focus on him, and I feel like that can lead to him having a hell of a year. So my bold prediction. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. Just throwing that out there. It's bold. Shout out to everybody in chat as always. I was gonna say I've seen Don Burr had a running mate today, so I'm pretty sure he's got both his computers out today. I
haven't been paying any attention to Don Burr in the chat. I just know he's talking up the Lions' fifth string and talking shit about our starters. So I don't even look at his.
I looked over and I saw a new name in the chat, and I was like, huh. And I seen that he was talking about the Lions being good. I'm like, oh yeah, that's some Don Burr shit. I see he had both the hands working pretty well this morning. Yeah, like I said, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Of course, shout out to my boys on here, man. Tooch, my boy C-Dub, my boy AC, man. Y'all boys always doing your thing, man. It's lovely to see, man. I can't wait for this season to really get in the full swing of things and see how this year is gonna pan out. Also, man, go Bears, man. Just go Bears, baby.
All right, C-Dub, give me your bold prediction. If you want to give me a season prediction on wins, losses, that's fine. And then hit your shout-outs, please.
Well, my wins and losses is the actual air's been taken away because I was going to say 10 and 7. What can you bet? Because as soon as you said it, as soon as you went to KB, I thought he's going to say 10 and 7. You fucking did, mate. But I think 10 and 7. I mean, I just think as well that the division is going to be one of the toughest divisions in football, I think, this year. You know, everybody's got a lot of talent on the team at the moment. Maybe the Vikings, because of what's happened to their quarterback, you know, they're probably the weakest team in the division. Sorry to say, Jordan. But, yeah, I just think 10 and 7 we've got to show improvement. I mean, would that get us into like a bit of a backseat playoff position? I don't really know. But I think 10 and 7, I'd be happy. I think maybe 12 and 5 at a push. But yeah, shout outs is obviously to you boys. You know, it's like can't wait for the season to start. So it's going to be such a cool journey to share the season with you boys again, and especially with Toots joining the team as well. Bold prediction, I think I don't know if it is a bold, prediction really, but I think our defensive backs will have the most interceptions in the NFL.
Oh yeah, I love that. Good.
So
does Bill. Bill Murray likes that one too.
That's a good.
Anytime Bill Murray on the screen or wherever, I love Bill Murray, the actor. But so I think our defensive
gonna
backs
make the team.
Yeah, it's true. I think the defensive backs could be like the best unit in the NFL. So shout outs to people in the chat. You keep the show going, and shout out to you boys as well, because it's not a Sunday without talking football with you boys. It's really weird in the off season. I'm not saying like I sit there in a room with pictures of you all for an hour and a half pretending I'm talking to you. It's not that bad. But it's so good that we've got football again. So just say like everybody have a safe week in the chat, and just fucking go bear down, man.
Yeah, I'm kind of more like I think Vegas has the win-loss total pegged about right. They're at 8.5. Eight wins would be one game improvement on last season, but it like Steve and me said in the chat, this is Caleb's first season in the NFL. So I mean, preseason 4-0 and Caleb's first season, we got to temper some expectations a little bit. 9-8 would obviously give them a chance to sneak in the playoffs, maybe. My bold prediction, I'm going to go double-digit sacks for Austin Booker.
Ooh,
nice.
Good call.
I know.
That'd be a hell of a bold prediction.
If defensive rookie of the year, he's going to have a hard time beating out Junior Colson, the linebacker from Michigan that went to the Chargers, because that dude's, he's going to be calling the defense over there and making all the tackles. That's going to be tough. I don't know if you know that player, but he's a damn good player. And then, thankfully, everybody, we've got a lot of stuff coming up. Bare Their Souls, the return of Buffon 55. We got Fantasy Football Goon coming up, which will go on after this show during the regular season. Everybody's doing their fantasy drafts, this weekend and for the next 7 days or so. It's everyone's doing their fantasy drafts. So best of luck picking players. And then we got the fantasy barroom fantasy draft live. I think that's a week from Tuesday, or is it Tuesday? It's Tuesday, right? Or Thursday?
I thought it was Saturday night.
Oh, Saturday night. Yeah, sorry, I'm way off.
I was like,
way off. Saturday night.
You're gonna be late too.
I'll be early. Saturday night. Tune in here and watch our KB's in the league, right or no?
Yeah, I
think so. You're in again,
right?
Yeah.
Us three, just not Chris. I don't think Chris plays.
No, I don't do fantasy, man. It just looks like real work, and I don't really like doing real work. It just looks like maybe it could send me over the edge as well. I'd probably get really frustrated, but it just looks like proper work to me. Fuck that, man. Fuck that.
That's a lot of research, and you got to pay attention to other teams, which is sometimes an issue.
Yeah, that's the work. I mean, on Sundays though, if you got Red Zone on, there's nothing like it. You watch, my fantasy guy, you got playing some prop plays. I'm starting a very busy period with this show. Bare Their Souls. I got weekend sports betting tips and fantasy football goon. It's like I hope I see my wife and kids, once in a while. But I'm doing a lot. I'm doing some stuff here. I'm late on this. I'm building the girls' desks, for their room up there. I got one done. I got another one today, and then they can have a spot to do their homework up there, and they got the penthouse apartment up there.
Nice. That sounds awesome.
And then thanks all you guys for making this possible. Aldo, barkeeper, for keeping things going. All the chat was great today too. Had a lot of good comments.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then good luck to Ryan Poles that gets to final cut downs.
What would you say you do here?
He's got some questions.
I used to get asked that question at work nearly every day, and the answer was, "It's my first day. I'm new."
He said every time. 10 years in, I'm brand new here.
What do you mean I'm new here? Sorry.
Until moving him to running back, that's what they were asking Bayless Jones, huh?
I just got here.
It's like Joe Dirt when he's on the oil rig. I'm new. I don't know. I'll pay for this.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's good. So, did you give a season prediction, Tooch, win loss, or?
I'm gonna say 8-9, 9-8. I can't decide, because
Yeah,
the schedule is very tough.
It
that's
is.
I
true.
mean, it's a fourth place schedule, but I mean, you look at it, we're playing the AFC South, which has got some decent teams in there, and then we've got games against the 49ers, the Rams, the Seahawks, and then the last 8 weeks of the season, we've got 6 division games.
Yeah,
That is a grind. You gotta gear up for your division opponents, which are always tough, physical fights. And 6 of them are in the last 8 weeks of the season. When teams are dealing with injury and there's playoff pressure and things like that. So I'm not happy about the schedule. That's the only reason that gives me pause.
yeah, that's true. And I could. Are you done? Am I good to go now?
Yeah, go ahead. Yep, I'm
Okay.
done. Yep.
So, first and foremost, shout out to y'all for coming on. My man KB with the Morpheus glasses. My man Dub from across the pond, and my man Tooch coming in from Iowa, coming off the IR. Hopefully, you're 100% by the time the season kicks off. Yeah, like you said, very busy time of year. Sports betting and tips. College football came back yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw. There's already been an upset.
Yeah, we gave out the play on Friday. Georgia Tech plus 10.5.
Look, there you go. You'd have won some money.
I said, I asked Sean to sprinkle a little bit on the money line. He was like, "Yep."
Yeah.
So outright win for Georgia Tech in Dublin.
That's wild. Yeah, I didn't expect them to win. I thought Seamus was crazy when he called Georgia Tech, but I mean, they won. They kicked the last second field goal and beat the Florida State Seminoles in game 1. So college football's back and everything's crazy. So tune into the sports betting tips.
They ran all over Florida State, man. It was like could not stop the run. So and Florida State they lost a lot of players, but I mean, their recruits, there's a lot of 5-star recruits in there. You think they're going to be good, but Georgia Tech returned a lot of players, and they were certainly physical enough. And the defensive coordinator, shout out Tyler Santucci for Georgia Tech, and Brett Key, been a spoiler for a long time. Coach of the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah. I know Florida State brought in that quarterback DJU that used to quarterback for Clemson and stuff.
Yep.
He's made his way around in this new NIL transfer portal days. So that was fun to see. I mean, he was slinging it. There was a wide receiver wearing 0 that looked really good.
Yep. They're not ready though.
Yeah, it just wasn't.
They're the favorites to win the ACC, but I don't see it. And I think there's other teams in there. I mean, SMU's in there now, and they struggle with Nevada.
Yeah.
They're in the ACC now too. SMU, they got a good team.
Yeah. I know there's a team in my state.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, college realignment sucks. I mean, it's like I don't know where teams are. I'm trying to study it myself.
I know Texas, Oklahoma came to the SEC. Kentucky's got to go down to Austin this year. That's wild for a divisional game or conference game. That's never been a thing. But yeah. It's going to be crazy for sure. But so tune in. The best way to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. If you subscribe to the Ballroom Network, it'll let you know if you hit the little bell. It'll let you know when we go live. We got everything from sports betting tips. Greg Gabriel comes on to talk football, to talk about scouting and what he sees, what he doesn't see, who he thinks is good, who he doesn't think is good, etc. Like Tooch said, John Buffon coming back this week, to talk Bears. He's always exciting. Buffon's one of my favorite dudes. I know when we met him at the barroom meetup at Aldo's, it was so cool to meet him and his I believe it was his brother.
His brother stole the show.
He was
well.
He hung out with those dudes all night, and it was really cool.
But it's probably like the hardest handshake I've ever had in my hand. You know what I mean? In my life. It shut me down. I'm like, you fucking bastard, what you doing, man? I was like, brother, man. I had no chance, but my God, he got my hand.
I was gonna say he held my hand any tighter. We was gonna have to go home together. I ain't know what was going on.
I probably learned that from Uncle Doug. He said you give a nice firm handshake, But so those 100%. guys are awesome. I'm not sure, is South Burbs Hitmen still going? I know they came on to talk about the firing. The White Sox might have a historically bad season. They might be the worst win-loss record of all time at the end of the year. Cubs are trying their best to try and make it interesting. I know they're in second place in the division last night, but they're still 5.5 back of the wild card. I don't see them. They'll probably just miss the playoffs again and then do nothing this offseason, even though Juan Soto is going to be a free agent. They could easily pay a bunch of money to help, but they won't do it because they're idiots.
You're talking 40 homers at Wrigley if they sign Juan Soto, man.
Buddy, I'd love to bring it in, but it is what it is. We'll see. We'll see how everything shakes out. But yeah, like I said, just subscribe to the Bar Room and it'll tell you when we go live and everything. My season prediction. Look, fellas, we won 7 games last year, and there was 3 games where we blew double-digit leads in the fourth quarter. So that puts me at 10. And, I mean, we've improved since last offseason, so fuck it. Your boy AC is going on the record here. 12-5. Bears win the division. That's my bold prediction. Bears.
I got to go on the record that I'll go 9-8 instead of 8-9.
Also, Caleb Williams. We've never had a quarterback throw for 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns. We're blowing that out of the water this year. Caleb Williams throws for 4,000 yards and over 30 touchdowns and brings home Rookie of the Year. And if Booker does what your bold prediction was, we're going to pull the Texans thing off and bring home both offensive and defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, great point. Great point.
So that would be wild. But yeah, I'm
sheer determination too.
I think it's going to be a big season, man. I've tried to hold back. I've told you guys, but leading up to the draft, I was like, man, I don't know about this dude. I don't know, but I don't care what Sean King comes on and says about him throwing in rhythm on time.
Yeah.
I see special, and I have not seen special at a Bears quarterback. I see special. Yep. Also, the defense is fantastic. So you put all those on top of that. If we have to punt, we're pinning you inside the 5 with the best fucking punter in the NFC. Yeah, I might sound like Don Burr talking about his Lions, but this is your boy AC.
I love it,
and I'm talking about my Bears. I got big hopes that Bears make playoffs, win the division. Caleb Williams wins the Offensive Rookie of the Year and blows all of Bears records out of the water completely. Yeah, that's the way I see it going down. And you can hold me to that. If at the end of the year we're Tooch's record 9-8 or 8-9 and Caleb doesn't look great, I mean, I'll eat crow. But I don't know. I got a good feeling about this year.
Yeah.
Also the coaching. Man, I was ready to kick Eberflus out of here. But I watch on Hard Knocks the way these players play for this man. And KB, you see it with your cousin. The way they play for this man and they love this man. I mean, and he comes out with the dad jokes and the nicknames. Come on, man. That's my guy. Scotty.
Not the dad jokes.
Scotty tears me up about some dad jokes. I mean, it is what it is. But we're going to try and maybe set something up for next week. But if we can't, then we will come back week 1. Bears, Titans, home opener at Soldier Field. But until then, we'll just leave everybody with a bear down.
Bear down.
Bear down.